Go ahead.
Over the past 15 years, reality television has transformed from a relatively non-existent category into a well-oiled machine. Tons of networks were quick to capitalize on the trend, and quickly reality TV shows became high-rated primetime juggernauts.
This is awful. Really.
Audiences love to tune in and watch everyday people put in extraordinary situations. But while these programs may be marketed as reality, there are often people behind the scenes who are pulling strings in ways you might not realize. Here are Screen Rant's 10 biggest lies you believe about reality TV shows.
Step forward.
Keeping up with the Kardashians. The Kardashians aren't known for being authentic, so it should come as no surprise that their show isn't either. Camera crews follow the family as they spend their days being famous on E-networks keeping up with the Kardashians. And if that sounds boring to you, you're not alone. The producers tend to agree and will occasionally mess with the show's timeline to create drama. They've also been accused of using their powers for other evils, to make some characters more sympathetic than others. Apparently, Kim choreographed her entire engagement to Kris Humphries, even demanding that it be filmed over again. Why? She didn't like the face she was making in the original. It seems that the real stars of this show are the editing department and cameramen. Judge Judy. There's a common saying among lawyers: always read the fine print. And if you can catch the fine print at the end of an episode of Judge Judy, here's what you'll learn. The complainants in each case found their way to Judge Judy's courtroom by way of a producer, and that producer found them by lurking around small claims courts, listening for wacky cases. At no cost to them, the participants are flown to Los Angeles, where they're paid an appearance fee. Even the losers are winners. The production company pays whatever fine the judge assigns at the end of each trial. So if you've ever wondered what would possess someone to appear on a show like this one, now you know. Cash cab. How many times have you found yourself in the backseat of a taxi wishing for something to make the time pass faster? If only the driver would quiz you on your general knowledge, then you'd both be having fun. Well, thanks to Cash Cab, there are a handful of lucky commuters who made it to their destination with fully stimulated brains and a pocket full of cash. Except that they don't actually keep the cash. They give it back and wait for the winnings in the mail. And the contestants? Most of them are not random citizens on their way to drinks with friends or a night on the town. Nope, they're people who have been pre-screened by producers. And it's disappointing when you realize that not everyone has an equal shot at being picked by the Cash Cab. Cops. Emerging during the middle of a writer's strike in 1988, the show Cops was born out of necessity. People were hungry for entertainment, and in 1989, executives figured that nothing was better than a story that told itself. As if being arrested wasn't bad enough, suddenly there was the possibility that it could happen in front of millions of people. Plus, just because the crew was often in the presence of law enforcement, it doesn't mean they were safe. One staffer was accidentally killed during filming. Crews need special permission in order to film with police, and almost nobody says yes. They argue that their work isn't for the amusement of others, and rightly so. If the cops don't even want to be on Cops, maybe it's time to shut down.
55, there's 65 nacho, 75 now. Yeah, 75, 85 nacho, would have been 95 now.
Storage wars. Look twice before you throw out that pile of junk in the garage, because it might be full of rare antique collectibles worth $1 million. If tenants skip payments long enough, eventually the contents of their lockers are auctioned off, which is the entire premise of storage wars. The catch is that the people bidding don't know what treasures lie within each unit. They're not allowed to touch anything until the buyer is confirmed, and there's something crazy in every locker. So after finding his share of outlandish stuff in the abandoned lockers of Storage Wars, one of the show's stars began making noise about producers tampering with their contents. If something seems too good to be true, it probably is. And bidmaster Dave Hester sued the network for interfering. He says he was fired in retaliation, but came back to the series shortly after. Man vs. Wild. Bear Grylls, aka the guy who drank his own pee, is the star of Man vs. Wild, a show that finds him trying to survive in the most severe circumstances. He's rolled around inside the corpse of a camel and eaten some extreme stuff. Audiences saw him devour snakes, spiders, reindeer blood, and a moose heart, just to name a few. But reports began to surface about the adventurer routinely abandoning his rickety outdoor accommodations as soon as the cameras quit. Some suggest that while it may look like Grill spends the night shivering under a makeshift lean-to in the middle of the Siberian wilderness, he's really snuggled up in a freshly made hotel bed. Apparently that's not the show's only trick either. They also staged a bear attack in which a costumed crew member ran at the host, and the team played it off as a legitimate near-death experience. The Biggest Loser. Despite the seemingly negative title, The Biggest Loser claims to be a show about everyday people taking control of their lives. Personal trainers work with overweight participants to help them shed pounds through changing their diets and exercise routines. And at the end of the day, whoever loses the most weight is the winner. But since the series debuted in 2004, multiple contestants have spoken out about the cruel conditions behind the scenes. They allege that the workouts often lasted around 8 hours every day, and that while the show talks about the importance of cutting calories, the crew took this idea to the extreme, leading to some people becoming severely ill and even malnourished. Apparently, staffers said that anyone who spoke up would be edited to look like a whiner. After failing to maintain the facade of empowerment, it turns out that the biggest loser is everyone. The Bachelorette. We all want the storybook romance for ourselves. but there are big risks associated with falling in love. Broken hearts, shattered egos, and nights wasted waiting by the phone. It's much safer to just sit back and watch it happen to someone else. And thanks to the creators of The Bachelorette, we can do that from the comfort of our own living rooms. One Bachelorette looks for her soulmate among a pool of about 25 hopefuls. They go on romantic group dates that usually end in disaster, but there's the occasional adorable moment. However, previous contestants have accused the show of roadblocking the majority of the romance. Creator Mike Flis has admitted that his endgame is to create good television, not play matchmaker. Pimp My Ride. For a lot of people, their first vehicle is a rite of passage, and more often than not, it's a clunker that barely gets the driver from point A to point B. Auto maintenance doesn't come cheap, and it's often more practical to accept the quirks instead of making repairs. But for a brief period of time between 2004 and 2007, there was a small chance that Exhibit would show up at your house and whisk your car away with his friends at West Coast Customs. Winners of Pimp My Ride had the pleasure of having their cars pimped. After a brief personality analysis, a team of mechanics come up with crazy ideas for add-ons and enhancements, then reveal the finished work to their owner. The show boasts about a 1-week turnaround time for each car, but some winners have said the upgrades actually took months. Plus, most people had to remove the mods because they made the vehicles unsafe to drive. Also, the team doesn't even touch the engine. Survivor. Charlie Parsons took the old stranded on a desert island conversation and turned it into an empire called Survivor. Since the year 2000, viewers have been tuning in to watch as the tribes battle hunger and each other in a series of tests, alternating between physical and mental. Whatever tribe loses the challenge votes on which teammate they want to send home. In the show's inaugural season, contestant Stacey Stillman was the third person to be cut from the team. She then sued on the grounds that producers were tampering with the voting process, arguing that if they hadn't interfered, she might have won. That case was decided privately, but producer Mark Burnett admits that some things were fake. The aerial and establishing shots were done using stand-ins, and that's why we never see any pesky cameramen in the background. So what do you think of our list? Did we miss any other reality TV lies? Tell us about them in the comments below, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos like this one.